Hi everyone, it's
Hi.
Nellie and
Laurie.
from Sew Right, and we had a request to share more of our fabric, and being the resident quilters, we are definitely happy to oblige. We have actually new fabrics coming in every week.
Yes.
And one of our current collections that we really love is Kyoto Garden.
By Timeless Treasures.
Yes, and as you can see, we've lined all the bolts up on the table, and it is a very small collection. Would it be a micro collection?
I would call it that. Actually, it's 21 pieces, and that includes the panel. So it's a colossal collection because we never, ever buy a whole collection, but this time we did.
Yes, it was just so beautiful, and everyone who's come in to see it in person has loved it, so we suggest you come in soon if you're interested in any of these pieces. And Laurie and I are just going to walk you through some of the pieces today and show you up close what this collection is all about and some of the details. Some history is this collection is by Timeless Treasures by their in-house designer Changa Wong, and she makes really beautiful darks and deep dark metallic collections. And thematically, this is a beautiful Asian themed collection with this geisha as the main, I don't know,
Focal point, I would say, or thematically, I guess the riff is her, and then all the fabrics kind of complement her.
This is the main piece. It's a panel. It's 24 inches width, and it's got lots of beautiful classic details of a pagoda, the cherry blossoms, the chrysanthemums. The Changa's flowers are phenomenal. The detail that go into the flowers and the line work is really beautiful. That's what makes this collection really pop. And the black is just gorgeous. I think their black is some of the best black out in the market. And so this collection, not only are we showing you some most of the pieces, every piece from the collection, we're going to show you some fun and simple projects that really give you a bang for your buck and an oomph without spending a lot of money on yardage.
Right, and without having to make too many hard decisions in terms of how do I put this in, how do I incorporate pieces. You don't have to buy the total collection, but you can get some nice key pieces that you enjoy and create a nice quilt, table runner, whatever.
And honestly, I'm not a collection sewist, meaning I don't like to sew from pieces from the same collection. I kind of like to mix and match from my stash. And the beauty of this collection is you can do that. It's so varied and versatile. They're light pieces, they're dark pieces. You can buy key pieces and still make a beautiful quilt. But you can also buy the whole collection and make a beautiful quilt. So either way, it yields really beautiful projects, and that's what makes this, that's why we bought into the whole collection, because it is just so versatile. So I'm going to have Laurie talk about this quilt top that she whipped up.
I did.
Literally in days,
Yes.
and I'll let her share the details about this quilt.
This quilt is called Oriental Harmony, and it's sold by the Sweet Tea Girls Pattern. I think I pronounced that properly, which we have in stock. What's nice about this quilt is, yes, it resembles the quilt I have back here, but any large scale print could be replaced for this panel and any cool blocks. So perhaps we can delve into that a little later. We're going to show this collection and show some other options in terms of how you could use this particular pattern to build out other quilts.
Great. It's a very versatile pattern. Lee Headington is the designer behind the Sweet Tea Girl patterns. This quilt is 41.5 by 61. It's wall hanging size, but really, it's a good throw or crib quilt as well. And this pattern is so versatile that you won't be just using it for this quilt. You could use it for any pattern or large repeat.
Correct.
And so, Laurie, what went into this quilt? How long did it take you to make it?
I didn't have to edit too much because I was given certain pieces. I would say designing it and choosing it would probably take an hour and a half to figure out what you have in your stash and what you might want to add to it. Then the cutting probably took an hour or two, and then putting it together probably 4 to 6 hours, just because I like to take my time. I like to square off my blocks and all of that. So if you were to take the total amount of time, I'd say a day.
Great.
Which is a nice quick way to spend a day and use your time.
So it's a good retreat quilt.
Yes.
Or a sew-in quilt. This excellent pattern. And we have all the pieces you can mix and match. You don't have to go exactly with the pattern. If you had a favorite print that you wanted to kind of go in the corners here like we had, this is a big spot to hold a big, bold repeat. There are many options. Which is the one that you put in the quilt, Laurie?
Okay, let's take a look. So it's a beautiful, I believe these are chrysanthemums and peonies, if we were to look. And you can correct me if I've got the wrong flower groups. But,
but I love the scale of this. It feels like it's not too large.
Yes.
It doesn't compete with the big flower that's in the corner here. I'm not sure if you can see that on the video. But it really complements in terms of scale and size.
Yes.
And there are a lot of little details here. I think this would be also great for one block wonder.
Yes.
Or any kind of kaleidoscope quilt, because there's so much detail going on inside.
I totally agree
print.
with you.
And what about the other
key
ones?
pieces. So we've got some other pieces here. We have this beautiful piece.
Oh, this sort of looks like almost like a chop.
It
Like
does.
a seal?
Right, a chop block type thing. This would be great even for home deck. Pillows, a border on a quilt.
Yes, this is one of the more versatile pieces with a lot of detail as well. I mean, look at how small it gets, and even the metallic line is still so fine in all these little flowers in the center here.
And even though it's vertical and horizontal, it's an all-over print.
Right.
I don't think you can
turn
go
it
wrong
either
in
way.
terms of how you cut it. You'll be fine. So we've got these beautiful cranes.
Let's turn it this way.
Thank you. Which I believe is symbolic for
Longevity.
life. Yeah.
The crane.
Right. Can't go wrong in putting a good crane in a quilt.
I know.
Particularly for a
I've always
gift.
wanted to do like a crane dress,
Oh,
or a
that'd be
shirt,
nice.
or a top.
That would be great.
This is very, very fun.
Yes. Keep in mind it's
well
directional. So when you're
elegant.
building it out, make sure that the cranes are flying in the same
Upright.
direction, upright, downward, whatever way you want, but the same direction.
Butterflies, and that is
Yes.
the one that has two colorways.
Right.
We have
Two
a light and a dark.
Right. And I think I put both in the quilt. Again, they're beautiful. You can fussy cut this if you want.
Oh, yes.
Because there's a variety of different butterflies in
Right,
this.
right. You could really go. It's my favorite thing to do when I'm
I
looking at a
know.
fabric. Is I do my little camera window,
Yes.
so I can kind of see what it looks like
Yeah, you can make a little
isolated.
template. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so
that'd
this is
be
great for
fun.
English paper piecing
Oh,
too.
definitely, definitely.
And there's so many coordinates that you could fussy cut and play with, even in the panel. There's so many great little details. I love these architectural structures and the mountains in here.
I don't think I cut anything off. So the
No.
nice thing about this particular panel piece is you're using the whole panel
Right.
and just cutting out just the black negative space. So that's nice.
Yeah, gorgeous.
This would be great even as a panel for the back of a jacket,
Yes.
or even if you wanted to frame a window out.
Well, I always think it's fun to upcycle jackets and put
Oh
big
yeah,
prints in the
definitely.
back.
Yes.
So we have the butterflies.
And then I think the final piece was this nice all-over print there, which is,
It looks like a cherry blossom.
yes,
There we are.
with some of those chop block-like features built into it right here. And that's a nice all-over print, kind of small scale, so would go well with that large chrysanthemum / peony print, as well as the others in the group.
Yeah, this is really fun. I love the detail in this one too, and there's a lot of movement. So it lends itself well texturally to add movement.
Yes.
Even though it's flowers, right?
So what else do we have in here?
So if you are not into the panel and you still want this geisha theme,
yeah, here we go.
we have an
Over geisha.
a running yardage print of geisha here, and there's several different motifs of the geisha. So it's not the one that we have in the panel, I believe, is this lady here,
Right.
and she's kind of blown up in the panel. But then we have another one here looking downward. So there's a lot of variety. And there's another one. The third one is over on your side, Laurie.
Oh, let's flip her.
Yeah.
It's cool. They're wearing different dressing gowns.
The detail in this is amazing. There's light and dark in the draping of her gown, and over here there's another, this is
The obi?
obi. That's
Yes.
right. That's the obi. And then so the sash here has a different coloring, and with the metallic line, it still pops, makes everything pop and outline it really beautifully. And I would just have fun cutting even blocks out of this if you wanted to.
And what's nice, the geishas are of different scales. So
Right.
some are larger, some are smaller, so you can really have fun.
And they're dropped, so you can still get, a geisha if you're cut creatively and make a quilt that way.
Yes.
Like portraits almost.
Okay, I guess this would be considered, again, lantern-like, but not truly lantern-like, but another textured, geometric type shape.
And it goes with these so if you need a place to rest in your quilt, or you need a fun background and you don't want to get too busy with the darks, you want to add some lights. We have the white with the gold circles and similar one in the red.
And then we have a gray as well.
Correct. And so, you could go any which way with this quilt. You can sew again with this collection. Again, you could sew with the whole collection, or you can mix and match. I mean, you could do those geishas and add these as background elements, but I love the versatility of this. You can go red, cream, gray, a little bit more of a modernist approach. And the other gray piece is that other cherry blossom here.
Oh,
should hold that one
beautiful.
up, Lori. I love this one. This is so sophisticated.
And delicate. The scream. I'm here. It's got
and
muted background.
Many of our customers do share that they love Asian fabrics or Asian motifs, but they're not quite sure. Does it feel too specific?
Right.
And I feel like these lend themselves well
blossom
to
as well.
Mixing, right? Yes. So like you can add these elements to a modern quilt.
And look how fun that is.
Yeah, this print, the scale of this print is amazing. I love. It's hard to find small detail prints that aren't vintage repro feeling. This has a really great modernist effect to it.
Yes.
And the background, the shades and the color in there. I mean, I think if we could hold it up a little closer so everyone at home can see how detailed that is. Like, it's not a solid red across. It's got some depth to it. So this fabric could do a lot for a block, don't you think?
Definitely. And with those 4 pieces that we had pulled up, you could make a great design.
Yes. So lots of fun here.
One more piece that might go along with it is this subtle.
Yes. I call these fish scales.
Yeah.
Or they're scallops. Really cool. I love the scale of this. I've seen large scallops, but this almost looks like jewelry.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Or even sequins in a way.
Yeah, like as if you were going to put it in a dress or something.
Yeah.
And the coloring, when you look at it close, you see the greens and the grays, but from afar, it just blends so well.
Yes.
We have these Asian characters. We don't know what it says.
So anybody who would like to share with us or translate, please help us out.
Yes.
Comments are
I can find
welcome.
a couple of the characters, but I really don't know what it says. This one has nothing in the background. The ground in this one has darker characters, larger
underlaid
characters.
over the gold.
Right, but Laurie has them in between some of her blocks.
Panels.
I think it adds a fun element to it by breaking it up a little, but it acts like a stripe almost.
Exactly.
Great for binding.
Because I didn't want a total black look. I wanted some other texture added to that because I thought it'd add more interest rather than having this completely black, which is what the pattern specifies. So you can be creative with the existing pattern you purchase.
Right. And yeah, this is just a nice addition thematically.
We have some ginkgo leaves.
Yes, I love this.
Oh, and some other floral blossoms too.
This green has a lot of depth too.
It does.
It doesn't feel minty. It's not very evergreen like Christmas. So this green I think would be a lot of fun in any quilt that you want to pull.
Yeah, even a landscape
tones.
quilt.
Yes,
if
I
you
think
ever
that'd be
considered
fabulous.
that.
Or border.
Oh, definitely.
If you just did this with a panel and a border.
Oh, look at how nice that is.
That is gorgeous. It pulls that on the green.
It does, because there's a multitude of different greens in there.
So yes, I don't think we could choose a favorite.
No, like choosing your favorite child, which one would never do.
No, we don't have that. So last but not least, this is the border stripe print, and it is a stripe that lends itself really well to really one of our favorite projects. This pattern is a best-selling pattern. We sell this pattern very often in the store. It's called the Easy Stripe Table Runner.
This beautiful.
Yeah, and this is the example that we've done in another stripe. Look, this is 3 cuts essentially. Or is it, how many cuts is it? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 cuts, but you're only cutting strips out. So this yields a really beautiful project without a lot of work. And I know people who've made this project for every season in their house.
How long did it take you to build this?
I think an hour.
Wow.
Honestly. And it's because there's no quilting involved. There's no batting inside. It's just a piece of flannel.
We carry as
yeah,
well.
and then you just sew it inside out, right sides together, and when you're done, you flip it out and you just do a top stitch around the edges on your stripe here on the edge. It acts as a binding. There's no binding. So
it's like self-binding.
It's self-binded, right? But you can do so many different designs. The pattern has instructions on how to do different designs. This is the most basic one. So this is essentially just taking your favorite stripe, cutting it out in a row, and then cutting out 2 triangles on each corner and piecing it together.
Wow.
And then cutting out a backing to match, and you flip it inside out, and it's done. This would look great in that. I think
definitely.
Several people already bought yardage of this to make them as gifts because
Right.
they travel well.
Yes.
And it's a simple...
It's a nice hostess gift.
Yes, it's a nice gift without having to spend hours in the sewing room and still get to play with beautiful fabric and not doing a lot of fussy piecing. So this is one of our favorite projects here. So you're welcome to come in, check out this top in person.
Yes.
Check
If
out
there's
all-
a demand for the class,
Yes.
I'm willing to teach it.
Right.
And then we can always, if you want to take orders, we can cut some fabrics for you as well.
Let us know what you think of this fabric line, and we will see you all again soon. Thanks for
Thank you.
watching.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.